Hi, I'm Jacob Hornberger, Libertarian candidate for president. Former President Trump is promising that this time around, if he's elected president, he's going to order a release of the CIA's long secret records relating to the assassination of President John F. Kennedy. Now, let me put things into context. In the early 1990s, Congress enacts the JFK Records Act, which mandates that the CIA and the Pentagon, and the Secret Service, and the FBI have to release all their assassination-related records over their vehement objections. This was 30 years after the assassination, and they're saying, but if we release these records, national security will be threatened. Despite the fact that their official narrative was just that some lone nut had assassinated the president. But national security is at stake here with respect to their records. Well, the Assassination Records Review Board, which was the agency charged with enforcing this law, forced the Pentagon, the CIA, and the rest of them to disclose thousands of records. And it was through that evidence that it was conclusively established that the military had conducted a fraudulent autopsy on the body of President Kennedy on the very evening of the assassination. That's detailed in my book, The Kennedy Autopsy. Well, the CIA comes to the ARRB and says, we need 25 more years of secrecy for thousands of our records here. And the ARRB was going out of existence, so that they said, yeah, okay, you got another 25 years. So those 25 years came due under President Trump's administration. And all the way up to the time of the deadline, President Trump was saying exactly what he's saying now. I promise I'm going to release these records. It's been over 50 years now, and the CIA is like still saying national security, national security. So, but Trump is saying, I'm going to stand fast. I'm going to order the release of these records, like he's saying today. Well, then the CIA comes to visit him at his office. Now, let me put things in context again. When he was running for president, Trump was making a big deal about draining the swamp and standing up to the national security establishment and the deep state and so forth. But as soon as he's sworn into power, he goes to CIA headquarters, not the other way around. I mean, you would expect a department head to come and visit him in his office. He's the president. But no, an implicit acknowledgement that it's the CIA and the military that are in charge of the federal government, Trump goes to the CIA headquarters, where he bends the knee, obviously, and he kisses the ring, and he obviously swears fealty and loyalty to this evil agency. And that obvious vow of loyalty is manifested in the week of the deadline for the release of these records that are now over 50 years. He gets visited by the CIA, and right after that visit, Trump says, well, I've changed my mind. I've got to grant them another extension of time for secrecy based on national security. So, an interesting twist to this is that Judge Andrew Napolitano, the former Fox News legal analyst, he disclosed in an interview that he had a conversation with President Trump because they're friends. And he asked Trump, why didn't you release the records? And Trump's answer was, if you saw what I saw, you wouldn't have released them either. Well, interestingly enough, Trump did an interview with a group called the Messenger.com just recently. And they asked him about the Napolitano conversation, and Trump didn't deny it. They asked him, well, why'd you tell him this? What's going on here? And Trump didn't say what's in there. He just said, well, I've released a lot, as you know, and I will release everything else. So then the Messenger asks him about what he had said to Napolitano, and he says, so there was nothing in there that the public should be scared about or that makes the U.S. look terrible? Trump, well, I don't want to comment on that. But he says, I'm going to release the balance of the record. So he won't tell us if there's something scary or makes the U.S. look terrible. He won't comment, but he promises it this time around, he's going to order a release of the records. Come on. How does he expect anybody really to believe this nonsense? But let's give Trump credit. I mean, let's give credit where credit is due. At least he brings a lot of humor into this political campaign. I'm Jacob Hornberger, Libertarian candidate for president. My campaign website is jacobforliberty.com.